Happy Friday, everybody. We're going to be budgeting out our paycheck for October 9th, 2020. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, basically every single Friday I budget out our paycheck using my Excel sheet, and I follow a zero-based budget or an every dollar budget, so I tell every dollar where to go. I try my best to project out what every paycheck's going to look like for the month, so I have my month totals, and then every week once we actually have our paycheck and we see how much we got paid versus what we thought, how much taxes were taken out versus what we thought, then we can adjust the weekly budget. Also, I had a viewer last week ask a great question about, what do you do when maybe an unexpected expense or something that you didn't initially have on your budget comes up, like a barbecue or something like that. Basically, my response was go ahead and add it onto the budget, and then you're going to adjust other areas of the budget. So for instance, you'll see that happens on my end. Sometimes I don't budget for personal care, and then I decide, oh, I need deodorant or something like that. Well, then what I'll end up doing is will probably take money from what I would have budgeted for our vacation savings. So our vacation savings will be a little less, and that makes up for what I spent kind of like miscellaneous. So if you're on a very tight budget, you're just going to have to really be cautious about those random things, or try your best to plan ahead for them. So obviously holidays are going to be easy because those happen the same time every year. Your friends and family's birthdays, think about those ahead of time. And then if there's just anything, maybe you've been cooped up for a while and you're thinking, yeah, I really need to see my friends, maybe just plan something on the side just in case you have a barbecue or something like that. But that was a great question. So we're going to jump on the Excel sheet and get to it. If you're interested, you can purchase this Excel sheet on Etsy. I've kind of made it evolve from over the years. So if you do end up purchasing it and maybe there's some other type of thing that you want to add or adjust to it, feel free to make it your own. I've had a lot of people combine mine along with some other people's to customize it. That's what I encourage you guys to make it work for you. Now, I do encourage you to do a monthly budget, but I also encourage you to budget out every paycheck, whether that's once a month, twice a month, every week. In our case, October, we actually have 5 paychecks because we get paid every Friday. Even if you don't get paid on a weekly basis, pick a day of the week that you need to kind of check in on your finances. So you want to check your bank account, see what bills came out, make sure you're still on track. For instance, if you do have that other expense, you can go in and tweak your budget, things like that. So even if you're not necessarily having money come in every week, I still want to encourage you guys to check out your budget and check out all of your accounts and everything on a weekly basis. So with that, the first account I check out is our Discover It credit card. And so I'm just going to bring this over here for you guys. I have on here a column, so under our card or credit card, we use it for a good majority of our things. We're trying to earn that cash back. We earn anywhere from 1% to 2% cash back depending on the purchase. So I just kind of go on a weekly basis. I see what we owe. I make sure I'm going to have enough money out of that week's income, and then I pay the balance in full every week. And that just helps me so I don't end up having to pay the credit card in interest. So as of right now, the only thing on there so far is $60.93 for groceries. That is our Home Chef meal delivery service, so that was just charged today. And we have $10.27 that's towards gas. This is actually a little lower. Usually what ends up happening when we get gas, it will show up as like $1, and then the full amount will show up a couple days later. So most likely this is more like $30, but we'll come and update that as we need to. So far for this week, all we have on the card is $71.20. So that, also these are categories I already have money budgeted for, so I don't need to worry about changing or updating my budget to accommodate what I've charged on the card already. So now we're going to jump into the week. So like I mentioned, we are on the 9th. So the first thing I do is I look at our pay stubs to see what was officially earned, paid, or what taxes came out. Now we're having irregular income. My husband works overtime, so it can fluctuate from no overtime all the way to 20 hours of overtime, which is what we have on the 9th. My pay, I basically can work, I'm on a flex schedule with Amazon. I'm working part-time at the sort center at nights. I can work 15 hours, and if I pick up a second shift, I can work up to 29 hours. I actually need to make a change for the 16th because I did take 2 days off this week. They were not paid. They are called VTO, so voluntary time off. Basically, if it's going to be a slow night, Amazon will offer time off. And so if you're feeling a little run down, or like me, I hadn't cleaned the house in a month, so I really wanted to get caught up on that. So I went ahead and took 2 days off. I won't get paid for it, but I also don't earn any like negative attendance points for taking that time off. So for my husband, his time was exactly what I anticipated it to be. His regular pay was $880 for the week for 40 hours, and his overtime was $660, which was 20 hours of overtime. My pay for the 9th was actually, I think it was 5 cents more, so $287.55. And I'm going to make this black now because that was the actual amount. My cash back for the credit card was $22.44, so it was a little less than we anticipated. That's all right. For the 16th, like I mentioned, I'm actually going to change this because I only worked 12.5 hours this week instead of the 15. So I'm just going to kind of guess what that might be. So $187.50. We're going to go ahead and do that. Now I did put in a schedule change, so now my Sundays I work in the morning. That was kind of another thing. It kind of threw me off, working in the morning and then trying to go back to working at night. So yeah, it's just a little weird. All right, so coming on down. So paying ourselves first, my husband has a 401k through his employer. He's currently investing 8% of his income. That's his total income and his overtime combined. So I have this auto calculating for me in my Excel sheet for the 8%. So it was the 123.20. I'm going to make this blue. I like to have the visual just letting me know that this is saved or it's invested. It's not gone. I officially signed up for a Roth 401k with Amazon. I was putting $50 a month into a Roth IRA, and I decided, because I started working at Amazon and they do a 50% match up to 4%, I decided why not get some free money, and so I signed up for the 4% with that, which basically comes out to about $50 a month. So I kind of just switched from what I was investing in. Basically, I won't have any access to that match though until I've been with Amazon for 3 years, so fingers crossed that I can last the 3 years, or the match would basically be pointless, but that's okay. So $11.50 is the first amount that will be going into my Roth 401k. Coming on down to giving, Ricky has 2 charities he donates to automatically out of his paycheck every month. So $5, basically $25 or $20 for the month. And then we're going to come down to our taxes. So this is usually things that will change based on our income. So our federal taxes are actually a little bit, all of our taxes were a little bit higher than we estimated, and that's all right. So $45.04. Arizona State was $31.68. Medicare was $25.23. Now this is our taxes for mine and my husband's paychecks combined. $107.86. And then we have family life insurance. Ricky has long-term disability, and we have our health insurance. So those are all the same. I'm just going to make these black because that money is taken out of mine and my husband's check before, so we never actually end up seeing that money. Make these orange on the end. I like to make the ends orange so I know what I'm working with. All right, so in order to finish out, if you see last week, we put $599 in our savings account for our mortgage payment for November's mortgage payment. So in order to finish out what we would owe, the $1,040, we need $441. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this blue because I did already transfer that into the savings account. So we're not quite 1 whole month ahead, but we're pretty close to being a month ahead on that bill there. All right, so groceries, I'm gonna go ahead and make this orange because I do have that in our necessities account now. So I've already moved some stuff around. If you see here, I have my income account. So basically our direct deposit from our paycheck, that goes into our income account. From there, I transfer the funds either into our emergency fund savings, our sinking fund savings, or our necessities checking account, depending on if it's a bill for this week, a bill or saving goal for later, or like I said, emergencies. So everything I've already transferred within the bank account. So you can see here I have the $200 for the groceries already there. I still have our water, sewer, trash bill. This money we had last month for this month's bill. It's actually due on the 10th, so this will be coming out either tonight or tomorrow. And then we have our $80 for our gas that we budgeted for the week. And then this $650, that is last week's Discover It credit card payment. I made it orange because I've already made the payment. The funds just have not been taken out of the account yet. So I like to keep that visual so I know, if I were to log on and say, oh, I have 988, I really don't have 988 because this 650 is in the process of coming out of the account. So that's just something I keep track of as well. So then one other change I wanted to make was for last week's groceries. So we actually only spent $192.53. So I'm going to start closing out each week when it comes to like groceries and gas, because those are kind of like our flex, like they could change what we're spending on. And so we've been really bad about our food budget of just spending and not paying attention. So this month I'm really focused every week of paying attention to what we spent. So last week we actually stayed under our $200 budget. So what we're going to do is if I manage to stay under the budget for the week, anything that's left I'm going to put in our vacation savings, kind of as like a little reward for staying under budget. So I'm going to make this black because that money from last week is done. It's gone. And then if you notice here, I have opened up some extra spots because we did have some random spending like we talked about earlier, so we're going to make those changes. So the personal care, we did have the $5 there. This I've already made the payment, so I'm going to make that black. This is part of that pending payment on the card. Household, we actually did end up spending $35.29. We had Ricky had to replace the pump thing in the back of the toilet. That's always fun. So we have the $100 for our electric bill, which would be due on the 4th of November. So this is actually in the savings account. So what I do is anything that's a bill for next month, I put it in the savings account, and then the week that it's due, I pull it out and put it in our necessities checking account. So it's something I've just been playing around with. It helps us earn just a little bit of interest on our savings account. Like I said, every little bit counts at this point. My car payment, the $449.73, I put in the savings account, the sinking fund as well, and that will be due on the 5th of November. So you can see we're almost a month ahead on that. Now this truck payment, I'm going to actually delete that out because we had some of that extra spending that I'm talking about. So that's where I took, for this particular week, that's where I took the money from to adjust my every dollar budget, zero-based budget. So we're going to come back to that. Down here, maintenance for Ricky's motorcycle. He had to get new mirrors on the motorcycle. So he spent $24.10 on that. I'll make this black because we did already pay for that as well. It's part of that pending payment. And then the girls, we're going to start getting back into their commission job. So basically when they help me clean the house, they can earn their age. So Arcadia's 9 and Elsa is 6. So they actually earned their stuff. And I went ahead and just put it in their savings account for now. I did not let them spend it yet. All right, the other thing I'm going to update is the gas for last week. So I budgeted $80 for last week and we actually only spent $76.32. So I'll make that black because that's what we actually spent for the week. So I'm just closing out the week for the gas. You can see our insurance was put in the savings last week. Our insurance payment, this is due on the 28th of October. And then scrolling down, we did already pay this $12. You see here at the bottom, we have $39.31. So that's what I put in the savings, towards the truck payment. So if you notice, obviously $278 total, that's not enough for our truck payment. So what do I have to do? I'm gonna have this little ripple effect. So I gotta change next week's truck payment. So now we're gonna need $330.51 from next week to make our payment there, okay? So I kind of just work my way down and I adjust things as we need to. Coming on down real quick, so you see I have $11.15 from the first week, and I went ahead and put that in the vacation savings. Now we are currently trying to save up for, we have 2 cruise vacations next year, one in May and one in December. The one in May, everything is in the savings account already ready to go. The one for December, we have maybe 1/3 of what we're trying to save up. And then last minute, this last week, we ended up planning a beach getaway trip in California for November, and we're gonna go with 2 of my girlfriends and like all the kids. So we all chipped in to rent a house on Airbnb. It's about a mile from the beach, and so actually we're super excited about that trip. But that will kind of change some of the vacation savings for next year. They'll be pushed back a little bit because we will be using some money from, basically, hopefully the money in October will cover that. I'm budgeting about $1,200 overall for that trip to California. That'll be our only like trip this year, and then next year everything. I'm just kind of leaving the trips planned as is, but I'm not making any final payments. I'm putting the money in savings, and then once final payments are due, which would be February and September, we will reassess how the whole cruise travel is happening with all of the pandemic and everything like that. I'm really hoping that they're back and going. I don't mind if we have to wear a mask, and if they're only filling the ships like 60%, I think it would actually be nice to have the ships with less people on it. So we'll just have to see, we'll have to play that out. So basically, now if you notice here, for next week, because I took 2 days off with no pay, we're short $187. So where is that going to come from? Well, first off, it's going to come out of the vacation savings. Like I mentioned, some of this stuff's going to get kind of pushed down. But I did want to make a few other changes before putting that $420 in the vacation savings. First thing I want to do is, we're going to scroll up to the top here, is our gift money. So we're doing $100 for basically wedding anniversary and my friend, because they got married, we had a joint wedding. So $100 towards that whole thing, giving them some money and for us to celebrate. And then this other $100 is for Christmas. We're going to start putting some money aside. So I actually want to go ahead and get that money in the savings now. So I'm going to change this to $200 out of next week's pay. And same thing, when I come on down, I want to go ahead and have this extra principal payment for the mortgage. I want to go ahead and have that available for out of next week as well. So I can put that in the savings account, or I can just make that payment right away. It's up depending on what I want to do. So I did want to adjust that. And then lastly, let's see if we have enough for that. We do. Okay, so I want to move our event money to next week as well. We just budgeted $100 for event. We just count this as like our Halloween budget. So whether we get, well, the girls really want to get decorations actually. So we have not done grocery shopping yet this week. That's why we only have $60 charged on the card. So we are going to be going grocery shopping later tonight. And the girls do want to pick up some decorations for the house, maybe costumes. Even if we're not going to go trick-or-treating, we're just going to do, we're just trying to make it fun at the house for them. I know we do have another friend, her son, I think they're going to do his birthday party this month as well. So that might be something that we'll be adjusting. We might be increasing our giving budget, but for now we'll just leave that stuff as is. So basically we'll have $32.79 out of next week's pay to go towards vacation, and then you can see on the 23rd we got to add that $388 over here, so $924.05. So slightly less than vacation, that's fine. We're still going to have some money to do our impromptu trip with my girlfriends and her kids next month, and then we'll still be able to put some aside for our December 21 cruise. All right, and next week we'll basically be covering most of the other bills. Now there's only one other thing. Oh, there's on the 23rd, actually my self-employment is going to go up to $75.30, so I need to make some adjustments there. So let me come down, and that extra money will just go into vacation because all the bills are covered at this point. Basically next week, by next week's paycheck, all of our bills will be covered for the month. So the next 2 paychecks are pretty much all savings, or you know, if you had that similar, if you had an extra paycheck, obviously you decide what you want to do with it. You could put it towards debt, you could put it towards you know, whatever you need to do. So the last thing I'm going to add on here is, you notice I opened up this on the 30th under bonus. So if you remember when we did our budget for the month, I mentioned that Ricky's work does a wellness program. So if you go to your doctor and you have your yearly exam, there's a form your doctor fills out, and they put down your cholesterol level, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your body mass index, whether you're a smoker or not, and then there's an online survey to complete. So if you complete all of those and you're within a healthy range within those things, Ricky and I can each earn up to $500. Well, we did not complete the survey part. That was something we totally forgot about. And then Ricky actually did have a slightly elevated cholesterol. So I basically, I think they said I was getting 350 and Ricky was getting 150, but basically combined, we got 500. So they said we're going to get it within 2 weeks. So I don't know if that would be on the 23rd. So I'm just going to line it up with the 30th. I'm going to go ahead and say the $500. I originally estimated on my yearly budget that we'd get 700. So it's just, next time I told Ricky we'll make sure we complete those surveys because obviously it made up a good portion. We already kind of planned what it would be. Most of this was going to go to Ricky just so he has some extra spending. And then I wanted to start being able to purchase, there's these IKEA shelving units with mirrors that I wanted to put in the garage. So basically we can start putting everything behind closed doors and it makes it nice and neat. And then with the mirrors, it makes it look bigger, but also because I still am a licensed Zumba instructor and a Strong Nation instructor. So even though I'm not teaching right now, I can still learn and practice in the garage, especially when it starts to cool off. So we're going to start trying to build up those. I think we're going to need maybe 5 units. So this particular week, we'll have enough for me to get 1 unit. So I'm actually going to line that up right here with home maintenance, just because what we've been doing is anything that's home maintenance or home projects, we're putting in home maintenance. And this household, this is more like our everyday, week to week, month to month type household things like cleaning and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put 200 in the home maintenance. The unit that I want to get, it's $170 plus tax, so it's probably like $185. So I'm just going to put 200 in there so I'm covered, and then the rest, the other 300, is going to go down here for Ricky. And so again, we might get that a week earlier, but I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and just leave that as that. Yep, so there you go. That's what I do. I basically just kind of go through everything, make changes as I see, either based on what we've spent, what we project to spend, or what we've worked that week, obviously, or what I didn't work this week, and then based on what we think is going to happen for the next couple weeks or something like that. So we try to update the budget as we have. You saw we have a little bit of a ripple effect as we go. But like I said, I encourage you guys not only to have a monthly budget, have a paycheck budget, and check on your finances at least once a week. Just pick a day and go ahead and check it out. It doesn't take long, maybe 20 minutes a week. You'll feel a lot better knowing where your money is going. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.